Today we are going to talk about the oral presentation, which is lesson 5 of purposive communication. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to 1. Deliver effectively the introduction and conclusion of your oral presentation to create lasting impressions. 2. Employ vocal and physical factors, eye contact, and presentation aids for effective delivery. And lastly, critique an oral presentation. Let's proceed to oral presentation.
An oral presentation is a form of communication where information, ideas, or a message is conveyed verbally to an audience.
It typically involves a speaker delivering a spoken discourse accompanied by visual aids to inform, persuade, and entertain the audience on a specific topic.
Oral presentations can take various forms, such as speeches, lectures, reports, or talks, and they are commonly used in academic, professional, and public settings. The effectiveness of an oral presentation depends on the speaker's clarity, organization, engagement, and delivery skills.
At this part, we're going to talk about how to prepare a speech or oral communication. To become a good speaker, there are principles related to public speaking. Take note of the following to give an effective speech and become a good speaker. Number 1, audience. Know the profile of your listeners to prevent miscommunication and misunderstanding. This includes age, gender, educational background, religion, economic status, and interests. Always be ready to face different kinds of audiences. There may be some who are questioners, hecklers, disruptors, hostile, or unresponsive bored audiences. Number 2, logistics. It is essential for every speaker to know who is organizing the event, the one who will be introducing you, and who will be speaking before and after you. Next, to know the flow of an event is important to have a more coherent presentation. And last, this also includes venue and facilities. Now, when we talk about venue, it is equally important. As a speaker, you should also know how to position yourself and how you should move in front to get the attention of the listeners. Remember to work on your posture, avoid bad habits when speaking, and do not block the view of your visual aids as you present them. Now, facilities. Ask beforehand about the pieces of equipment available for you. These facilities should match the presentation aids that you will use. Be prepared to find alternatives or ways to get the equipment if it's not available, especially if your visual aids are highly complex. 3. Content of report, speech, and lecture. First one, identify primary objective, inform, entertain, and persuade. Second one, focus on providing valuable new information for informative events. Third one, adopt a lively, amusing tone for entertainment-focused presentation. And last one, craft a compelling message to persuade the audience for persuasive events.
And now, let's tackle the tips to prepare for the event. First, read a lot. Stay informed by reading extensively and researching the assigned topic. Keep up with the new developments in the field. Second, prepare your oral presentation with an introduction, body, and a conclusion. Organize your oral presentation with an introduction, body, and conclusion. Choose an appropriate opening and closing technique based on the topic and the audience. Introduction. Using various techniques for the introduction. Startling or shocking statement, beginning with a question, using a quotation, narrating an anecdote or a story, singing a line from a song, and presenting statistics. Match this strategy with the topic, consider the tone and appropriateness. Body. Emphasize major points supported by relevant statements. Provide further clarification and context for each main point. Arrange thoughts logically for easy audience comprehension. Conclusion. Recognize that the introduction and conclusion leave a lasting impression on the audience. Ensure alignment with the overall theme and mood of the presentation. Applicable to introduction also. Use transitional devices. Employ transitional or cohesive devices to enhance the coherence of ideas. Ensure a smooth flow between different points to aid audience understanding. Third, rehearse by practicing aloud and getting the feedback of those who will act as your audience during the rehearsal stage. Practice your presentation by speaking aloud and engage in the rehearsal process to familiarize yourself with the content. Get feedback from individuals who can act as your audience during rehearsals, examples, family or friends. Use the feedback received to make improvements to your presentation. For the introduction, use gambits such as A. I would like to talk about. B. I believe that the topic is. C. Let me relate a. For the conclusion, use gambits or expressions such as A. Summing up the points I discussed earlier. B. To summarize. C. In conclusion. D. To conclude. E. Finally. And F. To end my talk or speech. And the last tip to become a good speaker. Fourth, use technology. Incorporate technology for audio and visual enhancement using visuals selectively to aid audience understanding. Enhance overall experience through technology, but be cautious of over-reliance to avoid disruptions. Use technology tools sparingly to avoid overwhelming the presentation. Avoid copying and pasting your entire speech onto slides. Use keywords on slides to effectively convey your message. Incorporate selectively chosen pictures to represent concepts. Utilize graphs, tables, charts, maps, quotes, and important passages for visual support.
At this juncture, we are going to proceed with delivering the report, speech, or talk. So to deliver a good report, after presenting and practicing your report, speech, or talk, you are now ready to make your oral presentation. Always make use of both verbal and non-verbal codes. The first one is paralinguistic cues. This is facial expression, posture, gesture, and movement. For facial expression, the eyes and eye-to-eye contact are very important. Posture is equally as important due to having good posture project confidence. Gesture makes speeches or reports more convincing and are used to make a point more empathic. Movement refers to the movement made by the entire body, whereas gestures are made by some parts of the body. This also includes attire. Attire is not considered as paralinguistic cue, but it is still classified as nonverbal. One way to attract the attention of the audience is by dressing up properly. Dress appropriately, but do not overdo it. The second one is prosodic features. Aim at delivering your message clearly through intelligible and comprehensible pronunciation. Articulate sounds clearly by paying attention to how you move your lips, tongue, and teeth. Assimilation. Assimilation is an aspect of articulation, involving blending the final sound of a preceding word with the initial sound of the following word. Let us proceed to the examples. Consider the examples below. To each his own. To each his own. The splendor in the grass. The splendor in the glass. Okay. The pros and cons. The pros and cons. The pros and cons. Successful communication depends on prosodic features such as intonation, tone, stress, and rhythm. While imitating native English speakers may be challenging, aim to approximate their style. Adjust the rate or speed of your speech to ensure listeners can understand. Speak more slowly if necessary.
Presenting in groups. How to present in groups. In group presentations, being a team player is vital and avoid competition among the group. Coordination and planning is vital so that your presentation is coherent and does not become fragmented. 1. Assign a specific task to each group member. 2. Divide the work accordingly. Each should know the part assigned to him or her as well as the time allotted to each. 3. Decide on a strategy as to how you will begin and end your group presentation. 4. Prepare your audio and visual aids to hold the attention and increase the interest of the listeners. 5. Practice on your own. Then come up with a schedule acceptable to the team in which you can rehearse as a group. 6. Get feedback from your teammates as to how you can still improve your presentation in particular and the presentation of the group in general. 7. As individual and group presenters, think of the possible questions that may arise after the presentation. If you cannot think of an answer, seek the help of your groupmates. 8. As individual and group presenters, respond to questions effectively during the question time. If it happens that nobody from the group knows the answer, be honest to admit that you will find time to research on the matter.
So now, let's proceed to overcoming anxiety or stage fright. How to overcome anxiety? Getting tense when making small or big presentations is completely normal. It shows that you care about your presentation and is needed to aspire for an excellent performance. According to Eugene White and Claire Hinderlander on 1956, we do not actually fear the process of speaking as such, but a negative response from the listeners. This is indeed true. What people actually fear is not the process of speaking, but the negative response, comment, or feedback from the listeners. Ways to overcome stage fright. First, prepare your presentation thoroughly. It is important that you know about the topic and that you know more than your listeners. Second, practice. The more you practice or rehearse, the more confident you become. Third, positive self-talk. Replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. Remind yourself of your strengths and capabilities. 4. Reframe anxiety as excitement. Instead of seeing anxiety as a negative force, reframe it as excitement. The physiological responses are similar, but this shift in mindset can be empowering. 5th, engage with the audience. Interact with your audience. Establish eye contact, ask questions, and involve them in your presentation. This connection can make the experience more comfortable. 6. Use humor. Introduce humor into your presentation. It not only lightens the mood, but also makes you and your audience more at ease. 7. Accept imperfection. Understand that nobody is perfect, and small mistakes are normal. Don't strive for flawless performance. Aim for effective communication.
At this juncture, we have finally reached the conclusion of our report. In conclusion, mastering the art of oral presentations involves a strategic blend of effective content, engaging delivery, and judicious use of technology. As speakers, we must strive to captivate our audience, leveraging rehearsed proficiency while being mindful of the powerful impact visuals can have. By striking a balance between spoken words and carefully chosen visuals, we can create presentations that inform, engage, and leave a lasting impression. Remember, it's not just what you say, but how you say it that truly resonates with your audience. That summarizes our report, and thank you for listening.